Hey, 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 ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries! Welcome to the traditional Heroes Lounge Playoff Draw Show, one of the biggest events on the esport calendar. I am your friendly neighborhood Latino Narsha and have been brought down from the dusty shelf of original hero loungers to help over the next couple of hours. That's right, I'm back to host the show with the smooth flow we all know and love. Not dead yet, but getting really old, though not nearly as old as Sembar, that is our producer again this season. So a big shout out to him. He is one of the many people involved with tonight's show, cause I can't do this alone. Oh, no, no, no. First, let's check in with the magical and mysterious voice that will be helping out throughout the night. And come on, now, we all know who it is. And for this season, I've decided to try to get to know him a little bit better. So, Karis, if this zombie apocalypse happened tonight, how prepared would you be?
I'd be pretty prepared. I mean, let's be honest, the corona apocalypse is a little bit like a zombie apocalypse. But sadly, I haven't been hoarding anything just yet, but I am definitely prepared for tonight's Heroes Lounge Draw Show, where I will be steering all of you viewers at home and you too, Narsha, and our guests through some of the different flavors of Heroes of the Storm that we get in the different divisions, the different kind of meta, and some of the top players you'll see in each division.
For sure, it's way too much to keep track of for just the 4 or 5 of us otherwise involved in the show. We need Karis and his mega brain to handle all the numbers from all the different leagues we have, from all the different divisions, players, and teams. He have them all on hand for us, and of course are gonna help us with that throughout the night. But we have some stuff to inform you guys about before we get started. Some of my favorite dates, because the teams will over the next week head into group stages before the Rare Cup final on the 28th of November. The following day, on the 29th of November, is the finals for the Epic Cup, and then we finish strong the weekend 5th and 6th of December with playoff finals for both the Legendary Cup and the Mythic Cups. If this is confusing in any way, we have commands this year like exclamation mark finals, exclamation mark Rare Cup, etc. in the chat, so it's all easily accessible. Of course, we will also roll out some off-season fun with some of the off-season ARAM we all know and love. Signups are open already and closes in a week on the 15th of November. And then we play until the 13th of December, which is the date of the final. And again, if you're not already noting all of this down, all of these things and much more can be found on the Heroes Lounge website. Signups for season 14 opens right about now, or at least at midnight. Closes on the 13th of December, so you got some time to getting the band back together before the new season starts on the January the 4th. Then enjoy tons of exciting Heroes action into the new year until we meet here again for the next draw show. But now we have heard plenty of Narsha for a little while. Let's talk to some of the guys that are going to be helping me out until the break here, as we're going to draw both the Rare Cup and the Epic Cup. We have a couple of guests to say hello to, which we will get up on our screen any second now. Here they are in all their glory. Okay. As mentioned, we want to get to know our guest a little better this season. So I asked Random Magro what his last meal would be. And if the earth was ending, he would choose mom's burritos or lasagna. But if he was condemned to death, his choice would be cereal, because then he could just keep eating and adding milk and adding cereal and just postpone the beheading forever. So that's pretty clever. Welcome to Random Magro.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited for this season's draw show, and yeah, that basically sums up what my last meal was. If the world is supposed to be doomed, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was good answers, and if I ever have a chance to taste your mom's lasagna, I definitely would. Now you're going to be our expert.
You should try
it. Yeah, just invite us all, and we'll come down. Now you're going to be our expert for the Rare Cup. Which team and division do you play in yourself?
I play in Division 6 with a team from COB, randomly assembled. We unfortunately didn't make it this season. We had a rough season, but yeah, I'm excited to yeah, talk about the other teams who made it into the playoffs, which were some really close ones, actually. And yeah, and congrats to everyone who reached the playoffs.
Yeah, and at least we have some COB representation during this draw show too. For those not in the know, a legendary Heroes of the Storm, Heroes Lounge organization semi that has been around since season 1, if I'm not mistaken. But we also have our expert for the Epic Cup, and I asked him what job he wanted when he was a little kid. And even though he did dream about becoming a footballer, he then realized his limits and set his sights at becoming a master engineer. And soon he'll have a master in engineering. So welcome to Myrmidon.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Nice to
Yeah.
have you here, and hear your voice again, even though it's not in a musical sense this time. Here to be our expert for the Epic Cup.
Yeah, it has been some time since I've done any music stuff, so just going to talk this time.
That is very much fine. For those that don't know you, which team do you play for in what division?
I play in Division 5 and in a team called Terminatori, a full Finnish team, but we didn't qualify for the Epic Cup.
But you can still, again, just as Random Agro, have some representation by becoming here and helping out as we're going to draw the teams in the Rare Cup and the Epic Cup now before the break. Most of us have been here before. We know what it's all down to. But for those that haven't, this is very easily. We have the best teams from the lowest divisions going into the Rare Cup. And before we get to the meat here, the drawing, the bouncing balls themselves, we are going to look at some of the numbers that is the groundwork for what we are about to see over the coming weeks. And of course, for that, we have Karis. Now, Karis, what are we looking for the Rare Cup numbers?
Well, as you pointed out, Nasha, these are the teams from divisions 6 and 7. And let's go ahead and dive straight into the meta of these divisions, because something absolutely monumental has happened. A true paradigm shift in the Rare division meta. Because for season after season here at this draw show, we've come on and we've said Kael'thas is one of the top 3 bands in these divisions. You know, we know that they fear and respect Kael'thas, but he's dropped out, as you can see there on the screen. He's dropped out. The Fiery Fiend has finally fallen out of favor, dropping down only to 12th place in the most banned heroes. And one of the key reasons for that is the rise of another mage, a little gnome who is secretly a big dragon. That's right, viewers at home. The Heroes Lounge meta has entered the Bronze Age. And so last season, Chromie was typically banned in around 1 in 8 games. For comparison, this season, she was banned in about 1 in 3 games in these divisions. And she's looking at a strong win rate and high pick rate as well. Now, some of you might be wondering, where are D.Va and Gazlowe in this picture? So this is the stats for the whole season. So obviously, that includes some of the time before their reworks. But even if you look at the last few weeks, you'd see D.Va just about nudge Chromie off that top spot, but Gazlowe wouldn't even be in the top 3, even since his buffs. In terms of picks, we can see that Joanna is still the most picked there. She's solid, and she's got a solid win rate, and she's delivering a lot for players. But she's also joined there by Reyna and Anduin, but their win rate's a little bit lower, around the 40 to 45% mark. So those are popular heroes, but not necessarily always delivering like, say, Joanna is, or Chromie. Now, just a quick look at some of the star players of these divisions. I just want to give a special shout out there to Polny Nubus of Team Salty Breads, who's played the most heroes not only in Division 6 and 7 with 21 heroes, but also across the whole of Heroes Lounge. 21 is an absolutely enormous hero pool for one season of Hero Lounge. So what are the actual heroes that are winning a lot? Because that's not shown here. I'll tell you, if we look at just heroes that have played a decent amount, so ignoring like very niche picks, you've got stuff like Rexxar and Lunara, over 60% win rate. But I really want to talk to you about 3 titans in terms of win rate: Deckard Cain, Tahaka, and Anub'arak. And here in Division 6 and 7, all of those 3 heroes are doing absolutely phenomenally well. Anub'arak with a 70% win rate in Division 6 and 7. And what's bizarre is, he's not getting picked a huge amount, but he's not a niche hero. It is still solid picks all around. So, I mean, I guess that's a question I'll pose to the viewers. If you're a Division 6 or 7 player, why aren't you banning Deckard more? And why aren't you picking an Ubrak more? Let me know in the chat. Back to you, Nasha.
70% win rate. That's pretty impressive numbers. I'm not sure if Random or Myrmidon have any immediate answers to that.
You mean on the Anubarak win, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
an
or-
Ubrak.
I mean, it's pretty hard to deal in our leagues to deal with CC, and Anubarak has a lot of that, and maybe that's an explanation for that. So I personally myself love to play Anubarak because of his CC, and you feel that impact you have with him, and maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah, also maybe Cocoon can be a reason. Player might not realize that their friend is in a Cocoon and don't get him out immediately. When in the higher divisions, people tend to focus the Cocoon pretty fast.
And of course, being a shining example of how E is for engage in every situation. On your screen right now, you have a bunch of team names lined out ahead of you. They are divided into pools, decided on where they finished in the league play, and these are the participants in the Rare Cup. We're gonna send some positive thoughts over to Sweden and Sembar, and he's gonna press a magical button that's gonna make balls bounce over the screen, and we're gonna fill 4 groups with with all of these teams. We're of course going to start off with the pool number 1, where we have the team Für Ruhm und Ehre. That sounds German.
Yeah, exactly. That's a German team. Für Ruhm und Ehre is the name, and it's a German team participating in their second season now, and they reached the playoff both times, and this time even as the first place. And yeah, they lost one member since last season, but other than that, nothing has changed in their roster, and that worked out surprisingly well.
And as Owl Exterminators are being put into Group D, there was a question in chat: how did the two top 4 teams end in the same pool? That's the point of the pools. The teams, all the teams in the same pool, will not be drawn in the same groups. As we can see here, as all Exterminators are placed in Group D, and now the Depression session in Group B.
Yeah, and if we're talking about the Depression session, it's a team from the UK and Sweden since season 9, and their last addition was Rodney, who played as a main tank this season with an incredible win rate of 75%, which may be also a crucial factor for them reaching the playoffs.
Definitely. And lastly, going then, the Group C is Sauce.
Yeah, Soze, or So Easy as they might be pronounced in English, actually comes from is a Hungarian team, and actually comes from their university, from Szombathely, and that's where their name comes from, and their logo as well. And they have been competing in Lounge for their second season now as well, and they promoted from Division 7 from last season into Division 6 now, and they have swayed some of their friends to play with them to extend their roster even more, and maybe that's why they they have promoted to Division 6 now, and again reaching playoffs both times.
Impressive indeed, but we cannot forget about all Exterminators that went into Group D.
Yeah, exactly. The All Exterminators in Group D. Of course, it's Chief League admin's fellow team, and it's a long-standing Lounge team, actually, with a very cultural variety of members from several different countries, and they had many roster changes over the past few seasons. Last season, they played in Division 4, but lost 2 of their best players in addition to their captain due to in real life stuff. So they had to stock up with 3 new people, which resulted in new seeding, and that's why they play in Division 6 now. But it turns out that worked quite well for them regarding the strong start they had.
That sounds like a pretty good starting point for the Rare Cup. But these teams cannot go through this easily. We need to give them some competition. And we're going to roll some more balls as we're going to head into the second pool of then the second seeded teams. First off is the Mighty Minion Army.
Yeah, the Mighty Minion Army is another German team with an unchanged roster since season 10. They just borrowed one player for this season from Facepalm Tacticians, a team who they are good friends with, to have an emergency substitute for their tank, since the Facepalm Tacticians were not able to participate this season.
That sounds unfortunate, but they are here. They are in Group B with the representation, and then we have Oopsie Daisy joining Owl Exterminators in Group D.
Yeah, Oopsie Daisy is an international team from several different countries as well, with a stable roster since 2 seasons. And they had a few new ideas they wanted to try, some new comms, and that worked quite well for them. And yeah, but I was not allowed to talk about anything in particular, so to prevent target bans, and yeah.
Yeah, maybe their opponents can buy you off with something else in the back room. Who knows? But Protecting Nexus going into Group A.
Yeah, Protected Nexus is actually the last team who reached the playoffs just in time. And they are a very long-standing team since season 3 even, with many roster changes over the years, with their current roster mainly being from Great Britain. And they had ups and downs this season and mainly focused on themselves, on just try to reach the playoffs, and they managed to do so. And yeah, congrats to them.
Indeed, and as normal, I always appreciate a good Wu-Tang pun. And then, of course, there is the team that I didn't want to pronounce, so I just try to ignore them. But I'm going to let you cover Group C.
Yeah, it's another German team. It's actually pronounced Prosony Glasbläserin. And yeah, it's another German team of real-life friends beyond the internet. And they only had...
Sounds like a German COVID cure or something.
No, it's actually funny how the name arose. They were drunk because they are friends in real life and made some party together. And when the name arose, they asked their friends if they know any professors who are like blowing, who knows how to blow glass, you know. And that's basically someone misunderstood that, and that's how the name arose with Prosony Glasbläserin. Does anyone know Professoren, die Glasbläser sind? And yeah, that's how the name arose, actually.
Okay. What do you know about them apart from how to pronounce their name?
Yeah, they had only one new addition to their roster this season, who is Dr. Shivago. They switched out their main tank to an assassin role to open up the tank role for him. And that seems to have worked out for them quite well, even though they had a rough start in the season.
Yeah, they are definitely here. Another team of German players. Maybe there is some reason to why some of you guys get picked to comment on the specific divisions. I'm starting to see a pattern here. We'll see if there are more impossible names to pronounce as we're going to head into the next pool of teams, starting with the Chill AF Heroes.
Yeah, the Chill AF Heroes are the heroes we are hearing from, because everybody is kind of afraid of them, since they are like the Quackamole from last season. And they are a newly found team from several countries as well. And they had an exciting season with ups and downs, but mostly ups, of course. Other than that, they wouldn't have reached place 1. And yeah. So I'm excited seeing them play against higher division teams.
Yeah, they're going to go into Group B. Then we have Blackheart's Booty Call. Didn't even see what the group they ended in. Was that A?
Yeah, it was A. And the Blackheart Booty Call is a newly assembled team as well this season, and they had to take a replacement mid-season, and then ended up with a great cooperating team. And yeah, that worked out quite well for them, and they're excited to play against every other team as well.
Yeah, they should be, as they are drawn here in the Rare Cup. And lastly, it's Fat Broken Mirror going to Group D.
Yeah, Fat Broken Mirror. So I'm excited to see a free agent team here reaching the playoffs. And they are also assembled from various countries. With a starting roster of 7, they had a rough start in the management, as you might suggest from a free agent team. And in the beginning, their assigned captain unfortunately didn't respond, so they therefore lost him from the roster with some additional issues within the team. They also had to say farewell from another member, but that was actually the best decision they could have made, because since then they haven't dropped a single map whilst playing in this particular 5-man roster, and even became good friends with each other.
Impressive and shining example of some of the great stuff that Heroes Lounge can do to improve your life in many different ways. We are almost done here with the groups for the Rare Cup. We have one pool left of teams that we are gonna draw now. Leslie. Here they are, the 4 final balls in the Rare Cup. We're going to start with Abba Stole My Bike.
Yeah, Abba Stole My Bike is also a new team, mainly consisting of Czech and Russian players. They formed about 2 months before season 13 started and experienced small roster changes throughout the season, and therefore struggled a bit to come into the tournament because they didn't know what they should expect and MMR seeding and stuff. But in the end, they managed to practice more often, and that helped them reaching the playoffs.
That is a pretty good start for them. And then we have free agent team Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see another free agent team here in the playoffs as well. It's a multicultural team as well from Sweden and Czech Republic and even from Latin America, who are living in Europe now. So they don't experience a hyping. And the management of the team worked surprisingly well for them, thanks to some of them already knew each other before and therefore already had a bonding between them.
Wow, that's a good start. I think I might have a favorite in the Rare Cup this year. It's not often that I get to support my Latino or Latina co-players, so that's good when I have the opportunity. And now lastly, we have Shoryuken.
Yeah, Shoryuken is another new team whose core roster is from Greece, with real-life friends playing video games together since 2005. And they had a pretty great season, with their highlight was reaching the playoffs with a damage dealer who only knows how to play Reyna and a healer who only knows how to play Uther. So, which seemed a miracle to them that they even got that far.
Not bad. And
yeah, I have to add that it's impressive to even have them in the playoffs with only 9 games they played, due to the fact that the new captain didn't know exactly how the captain duties in Lounge works. In round 2, they dropped 1 because they became inactive, and that I'm impressed that they got so far with 1 game less.
Oh yeah, that's definitely also something to take into consideration. Hopefully, everyone, we will be able to give you your say here, as we have the traditional voting, the polls that we always do. We might have some issues with the polls for the Rare Cup, but we might not, as Karis, of course, have fixed them in the meantime. Before we head over to the polling, you wouldn't really think that I forget to talk about the Rantners. The
Rantners. Yeah, exactly. It's another German team. Who would have thought? It's a pun because Rantners actually in German is a normal name with an east instead of an A. Because that means old age retiree and stuff like that. And as far as I know, they are only playing middle-aged persons or players in this team. And I like all of them, and they play pretty deep, pretty good. And they are old but slow. And
yeah, did you hear that? That's Sambar. I think the two of us maybe have to put some money on these guys this year. All but slow, just like we like it. That seems all very good. We have the groups, and now that we have them, we are gonna let you guys who you think will win the Rare Cup. Right in front of you, you have all the instructions for how to vote, and we will in real time see how the results pan out here as the votes are already starting to come in. But Myrmidon, as an outsider-ish, do you have any feeling here? Do you have any favorites for the Rare Cup?
Well, if you take just on the basis of the name, Abba Stole My Bike is really fun name, so I would I would vote for them. Some of the team names I recognize from past seasons. This season I haven't really watched that many games from the Division 6 and 7. But for example, Für Rum und Ehre, I saw that they played in the Nexus Rumble, and actually 2 times versus one of a team that we will hear from later on. So, and they managed to get a map win out of a Division 5 team. So I think it's pretty good for them.
That can definitely be interesting information to have in the back of our mind. What about you, Random Aggro? Now that the results are starting to come in, what do you think?
Yeah, they are all great groups, so you can expect really nice games out of every group. I'm excited to see Furum und Ehre actually to play against the others, especially Black Hat's Booty Bay. I think that could be a quite nice matchup. And yeah, as well as to see how all Exterminators tries to play against teams like Oopsie Daisy. And in group to get to Group B and C, yeah, the Depression session actually has also nice matchups. And Aberstoma Bike is also not to be underestimated. And yeah, let's see how Group C, the Rentners, match up against their German rivals, Prosonic Glasbläserint.
We do see the Owl Exterminators seeming to be the favorites of the people. So that's just brand recognition, or?
Yeah, maybe that comes from from either having Fallop as the team captain there, or because they just played higher divisions the last time, and maybe that's why they are favorized by the audience. I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem it does seem in any ways like the Owl Exterminators actually won't. They win the popular vote, but they won't win the electoral. No, okay, no, I'm not gonna. Okay, Rare Cup. That's it. The groups are drawn, and you all have had your say in who you think will win. As mentioned, the Rare Cup final will be on the 28th of November. So feel free to put that down in your calendars. And of course, there will be tons of Heroes of the Storm action here on this very channel and the other ones associated with it leading up to the 28th of November, as we, of course, have to go through all of the playoffs and all of these teams have to battle it out. But that is only one of the 4 yummy, tasty cups we have for you today. We are going to get into the next part of the show, which is drawing the Epic Cup. That is correct. And to do that, we once again have tons of tasty numbers to lean on. And we, of course, have the tasty voice of Caris coming through our speakers, introducing us to them. Yeah, let's hear it.
That's right, Nasha. We do indeed have my tasty voice once again, and we are now looking at the Epic Cup. That's teams from Divisions 4 and 5. Now, these were the biggest divisions this season. 26 teams started in Division 4 and 31 in Division 5. So they've got the most games played. We're looking at stats here from 586 games of Heroes of the Storm. And if you think the average length of a game in Heroes Lounge is 19 minutes, that's a lot of hours of Heroes of the Storm being played. In terms of battlegrounds, these divisions are very much standard in the Infernal Shrines, Volsky Foundry, Battlefield of Eternity. They continue to be the top 3 battlegrounds played, as in basically every other division and also in previous seasons as well. Onto the hero meta, you can see the continuation of the Chromie focus here in the bands. But you can also see Imperius has snuck into these top bands just here, and that's something we'll see as we climb the divisions tonight. The higher the division we go, the more Imperius is getting banned. In terms of heroes that are high win rate but are still played a decent amount, well, you'd be surprised to learn that the Lost Vikings had a fair few games this season, and they've got a 77% win rate here in divisions 4 and 5. But Tyrael also very strong, and Anubrak once again knocking in a 61% win rate. So definitely heroes to watch out for.
For sure. The Epic Cup also have their interesting numbers. Of course, a little bit more recognizable, maybe for a bit more players. But of course, we're going to see them unleash all of these heroes, all of these players in the Epic Cup. On the screen now, you have all the pools lined out in front of you, and this time we don't need any further introduction. We all know what's going to happen. We're going to funnel some balls out. We're going to put some teams in some groups, as the ball machine is gearing up to show us which teams from Pool 1 will go into what groups. First team, Myrmidon, All Blacks.
Okay, so they are the number one team in Division 1. They are a bit all over Europe, German, Dutch, and even Andorra, which is, I haven't never heard from anyone from that country. Yeah, they are, I would say, one of the absolute favorites.
Oh, one of the absolute favorite, All Blacks. You got to remember that. And yeah, then Tactical Suicide.
Yeah, the Tactical Suicide was actually a team that many teams that I interviewed said that that would be their, what would I say, favorite to win. But they did lost to All Blacks during the season. So
that is definitely worth having in the back of our mind. But of course, things can be very different in the very heated scenario of a cup. And then Leslie, Sardines in a can.
Sardines in a can is well, I know that's the team I know the best since they are Finnish team, and I played in the same team as 3 of them last season.
Is it pronounced Sardines or something?
Yeah, Sardines. They have a player called Sardini, so they play a lot of Chogol, for example. So that's something to look up for. But we skipped kind of Giborim, who landed in Group D. That's actually also a fun fact that they, even if they were in 3rd spot, they won both Tactical Suicide and All Blacks, who were above them. And yeah, Giborim is full Israeli team, and it's Hebrew and means heroes.
I see. But that's actually just really interesting in itself. The fact that they ended up behind these top teams, but managed to beat them in the individuals. That might mean that they are, if not an underdog, a real strong contender for the cup here when they go into playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. It can be that they had a bad day when they played, so hard to know. And they have a real pocket pick with Samuro, who has been banned 17 times against them.
Oh,
so I assume he will be banned in the future as well.
Does seem like teams doesn't like to take the chance with Giborim and Samuro, but we're gonna have to give them some opponents. Let's get rolling with some more balls as we're gonna draw the next pool of team. From Pool 2 first, we have Take 2.
Yeah, Take 2, they were also an Israeli, full Israeli team, which is quite funny. Same as the Giborim. They lost to Tactical Suicide 2-0, and well, they want to get their revenge on them.
Yeah,
but
going
Forever Loans, the longest standing team.
Yeah, we can get back to Forever Loans and then cover Clowns on the Beine Antimeta.
Yeah. Okay, so Cup Antimeta is also a really long-standing team. They have had a lot of roster change, and none of the people have played from the beginning. They are at least from the season 4, but yeah, they played with the exact same roster last season, so they should be warmed up.
Definitely. Yeah, they should. And as we talked about with Random earlier, it's good to have some COB representation in the cup. And Leslie, Munchies in Group A.
Yeah, they are all over Europe, a team from all over Europe. And yeah, they managed to break their curse this season. They every season so far they won the first 3 games and then started losing. But well, this season they lost again the fourth game, but then they changed it around and ended up in the playoffs.
Good stuff by them making some changes and getting results. And of course, in Group C, we cannot forget another long-standing member of the Heroes Lounge, the Forever Loans in Group C.
Yeah, there's so many things you can say about them. They actually only have one player who's been in the team forever, and well, looks like Beyaz is is going to be forever alone. But
Oh, no.
but yeah, they had a bit of of course many of them have played in the launch before, and they probably have more launch seasons behind them than many teams altogether. Like so,
Yeah, they definitely have some experience to lean on as they are going into Group C here in the cup. But we need more teams in the groups. We're gonna head over to pool number 3, where we're first gonna cover Unleashed.
yeah, that's a really interesting team. They won all their games this season. It's a full Slavic team. It's a bit of Russian, White Russia, and other teams. And last season they only lost to one team, and that was Guacamole, who we will see soon. And they lost to them in the playoffs or in the Rare Cup.
Mm. And then we have the team Lux Strikes again. Is that like Salmon random?
Exactly.
Oh, there we
That's
go.
another German team.
Yeah, they're real life friends from München. So, and yeah, they want to face Fat Nova since they have a rivalry all back from season 9.
Oh, I like rivalries. That always give it a little bit of extra spice to a lot of competitions. And then we have the Norweaklings.
Yeah, we skipped Guacamole, but we will come back to them later. Norwegians are Norwegian team, full Norwegian team, and they actually scrimmed 2 teams from the Division 4, both Munchies and Sardinis. And well, they happen to face Sardinis now in Group B, so they will surely be banning the Chogol, since that was something they specifically said that they are scared of.
And good to have a little bit of experience under the belt before heading into the group play, of course. But we are, of course, gonna head back and cover the teams that we didn't when the groups were being drawn. Guacamole in Group A with All Blacks and Munchies. Ooh.
Yes, that's a full Dutch team, high school friends, and they won the Rare Cup last season. So they were brought up from they were actually a Division 7 team, same as Unleashed, and yeah, they won the Unleashed in the group stage. No, sorry, in the playoffs, but they lost to Unleashed in the regular season last season. But yeah, they are the only team with a 100% win rate with Lucius. High five. I have no idea what that ability does, so if someone wants to tell me, they can message me afterwards.
I'm just laughing like like pretending.
It's a little known factoid that GLHF, which everyone says at the start of the game, that actually stands for Good Lucio's High Five.
Ah, okay.
But what is it? What's
Total
it
silence. It's a cleanse. It's a cleanse talent.
Oh,
okay, well, maybe after a rework they will put it as a level 7 talent or something.
Before we draw the last ones, it kind of seems to me like Group A is starting to form as a very difficult group.
Yeah, Group A might be hard. Also, Group D with both Giborium and Unleashed. Those two teams seem really tough. And out of the Division 5 teams, I think Unleashed has the most potential to be deadly. As said, they won all 10 games this season in the regular season, and yeah, looks like they need to be upped up at least one division.
We are gonna see who their last opponent will be in a few seconds, as we have. And what's all with this like Deutschland, über alles German efficiency here are gonna be drawn into Group D.
Yeah, that's strangely enough a German team with 3 former players from Wonder William Gang and a real life couple. So that they are really efficient, combining love and fun.
What random is that song like? Not allowed anymore or something? Banner?
It's not actually. Yeah,
Okay, I take it back. I can take it back.
it's
That was
alright.
that was on behalf of myself, and I did not represent the Heroes Lounge when I was singing that song. Okay, Laser Sharks in Pool 4 are gonna go into Group A.
Yeah, they have players from all over. They have UK, Sweden, Germany. They have quite a big roster, 8 players. Most of the teams in Division 4 and 5 only have 5 or 6 players, but this is a 8-player roster. And yeah, the Lazy Shark was actually pretty active in the, what's it called? The Nexus Rumble. Was it Nexus Rumble? They played a lot of games there. They, for example, won German efficiency in the cup, or in the Rumble thingy, but lost to them in the. No, sorry, they didn't play in the regular season versus German efficiency. So
I see. There were two teams we almost skipped here, but we of course are going to cover. I thought first you said vacation in Germany, but it's vacation in Purgatory. But potato, potato. Am I right? Going into Group B.
Yeah, that's actually a team I know quite well since we screamed them a lot in the early season, and well, they like to play a bit of different drafts. For example, they play a lot of Lily, and in their opinion, Lily is underrated by the whole community. So that's something to keep your eyes out for.
Okay, keep those auto attack picks maybe on the download then against vacation in Purgatory. And then a team that you alluded to a little bit earlier, we have Fat Nova.
Yes, even if it's a free agent team, it's not a free agent team from this season. It's from season 9, and as mentioned, they or did I mention that they played versus? Yes, I mentioned they played versus Last Strike again when they first started to play, and they started up in Division 6, so they've moved up a division from since then. But this is not their first time in the playoffs. They've been in Rare Cup, both in season 10 and 11.
And it seems like there was some members of Lux Strikes again that was pretty happy with getting them in their group. Football's coming home, lads, he says in the chat. If football is coming home, and to what degree, you have a saying any second now. As we're going to go polling also for this cup. You can see the instructions on your very screen right now. Get your saying in the... I'm gonna go to you first, random aggro. What is your feeling? Do you have any favorites, any preferences?
Personally, for me, I have two teams I have bonds with. First of all, of course, the COB Antimeta, because it's out of the COB clan. And I hope they are doing great in the playoffs. And as well as Lux Strikes again, I have a great friendship with them. I casted some games of those, and yeah, we even scrimmed sometimes. And yeah, I hope they will do very well as well.
Yeah, then we have a couple of German teams there to look out for. But you, of course, Myrmidon, you have talked about the All Blacks and all the highest seeded teams. Is that still where your mind goes as your favorites to take it all home?
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, Tactical Suicide, All Blacks, Giborim, all really good teams, won most of the other teams in their division. It depends on who has a good day, how the games will end. But then, as I mentioned, Unleashed, you can't take them out of the consideration, since they won all 10 games in the Division 5. So
I have to ask, is it the Norwegian government that have hacked my computer or something? Or does Norweaklings have 21% of the fan votes?
yeah, they got a lot of votes. Yeah, watching the stream, a lot of people didn't have faith in their own team. They voted for the Norwegians.
As an adopted Norwegian myself, I of course voted for them. But okay, I have to ask you, even though with this many audience votes, do they have a chance?
Sure, they do. everyone has a chance, as we know. Well, they won some hard teams in their own division, so I don't see why they couldn't step up their game for the playoffs. And I probably forgot to mention, but they are a completely new team, so that's also something that to take into consideration, that they are building up their synergy still compared to other teams that played a long time together. They have their synergy, but they might not get as much better or as rapidly because they kind of reach their maximum potential, so to speak.
But that also makes them much less predictable. So that might be something to have in the back of your mind. I'm at least gonna pay attention to and cheer on our weaklings as they go along against all the rest of the teams in the Epic Cup over the next coming weeks. And again, remember the final is on the 29th of November. Get it down in your calendars right now. It's going to be exciting to follow all of these teams in what I feel might very well be a very close and tight playoff. 29th of November is when that happens, and that leaves a couple of cups left. We are halfway there. That also means that we unfortunately have to say goodbye to the two beautiful men on my left and right hand side. Thanks so much, Random and the Myrmidon, for giving us your input on the groups. And I hope you're gonna hang out in chat and watch the rest of the show.
I have one last question for Myrmidon here. What do you think the last winners, the Rare Cups winners, the Quackamole chances are this season in the Epic Cup?
I don't know. They actually won the Unleashed in last season, even if they lost to them in the regular season. So they can maybe evolve, and I mean they know how to win when it really matters, since they have participated in one season and they won it. So I think they might have a chance.
All right, I'm excited to see.
We do have seen some pretty good and interesting runs in the cups before, so yeah, definitely anyone has a chance in the playoffs, as they're gonna play out over the next couple of weeks. That was it for the Rare Cup and the Epic Cup. Now we're gonna go into a short break. Not only are we gonna switch out a couple of people, gonna update a couple of things, but we're going to use the time to show you this season's highlight reel. That's right. Once again, the people behind the scenes have gone through tons of VODs from the Heroes Launch games in season 13, put together some of the coolest clips from some of the best fights, from some of the best games, from some of the best series of esport action the last couple of months. So enjoy that for a couple of minutes. Then we'll be right back, drawing the legendary and the mythic cup before we round off the evening. So I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Excellent. Game 3. Oh, there's the APOC. The snowball gets dropped down, the light bomb, everything gets thrown down, and that Avalanche was insane. Greymane falls to the Cassia damage, so does Tracer. The pool saves Hat for a moment on the Rel, but he falls. Diablo falls. And this is going to be a team wipe in favor of out of position squads. With that top keep going, there's going to be constant pressure. There's already the Shaman camp. There's one catapult, a second one coming in.
Good counting.
Yes. Oh, and there it is.
And this is the setup, the APOC, the sticky bomb.
Oh, it's huge. Thrall falls, gets his ult off. That's 2 dead.
And the Diablo follow up. Wow, and I think that's just secured their objective.
With the Rare especially tied up on the top lane, and the blue team knows that they are engaging. They know the arrow is gonna be coming from Hanzo. Here's the arrow. Is it going to hit? Is it going to go to HGC? I think it's going to hit, lads. It's the perfect arrow. Well, almost the perfect kill. That wraps up the 3 kills there with a massive setup from Kurtle, but the arrow did hit HGC, so no HGC arrow there.
blue team now complete. Ooh, what a lunge! Triple connect and the roots and another double. How?
Looking for a fight. The stun from Dimorto is there. It actually hits Rexar in the background. Deadly Kitten helps him disengage, and he actually survives through the last rights. 3 kills affecting the choke point. This was absolutely Hail Mary from the blue team, and they are going to pay the full price for taking a desperate fight.
This is found something. The light bump is in. 4-man mosh pit. No! No, Anduin, what did you do? But the death rush, look at this! What is this? Oh my god!
They're very level.
Have to go at it the right way here, and they do. See, people could learn a lot here. You don't have to kill the whole damn gate to go through. Just like this is fine if you really want to go for this play.
I think they're too low to do this.
Yeah.
Murky with the double kill.
I know one famous person who would ask you, is this clownable? Apparently it was.
They're doing this camp. They could see a potential invader miss camp coming out.
And Jam is leading the charge with the Stukov and the Tychus and the triple
three-man root!
The triple root!
Oh, I lost
Jam,
the
you
3-man
monster.
route. The 3-man route from
Jam.
Jam.
I think they're looking to finish here. Lifebinder is up, Karis goes in, there's the Blessed Shield. Lifebinder actually got interrupted, and Amisa Karis gets the lead, and Cassia dies as well.
Oh, but so does Johanna and Pierce with a big shish kebab on Sylvanas.
Yeah, but now look, Karis is back, and he finds Squeaky. Squeaky is so low. So he finishes him off, but the catapult. Oh no!
30%.
Oh my god, it's a face race!
Nice. No!
Oh my god!
No! Oh, he got the catapult! He got the last one!
He got it! He got it!
No.
Oh my god, they're winning!
Yeah.
They won!
Hey. Good to see you all again. Hope you enjoyed all those amazing clips from season 13 of the Heroes Lounge. That and much more you will see in the coming weeks as we're going to head into the playoffs and then into the finals. Exclamation mark, finals, and all that good stuff. We have commands for it all in the chat and, of course, on the Heroes Lounge website. So be sure to check that out. And that is also where you can sign up for the next season of Heroes Lounge. Season 14 is going to start rolling around the new year. So feel free to go in there and sign up from midnight. And of course, in the off season, we have the ARAM madness that we all know and love. Sign-ups for that is already open, so just gather whoever is randomly closest to you at the moment and sign up for a team and come have some fun. Now, we have drawn both the Epic Cup and the Rare Cup, meaning we're going to get into the real high tiers of Heroes of the Storm esport gameplay. We're going to go into the Legendary Cup and the Mythic Cup with its own special rules to figure out who the best team of them all is. But, of course, I can't do that alone. We have two new beautiful people, beautiful voices, and beautiful opinions joining me on one each on my one side. We're going to start off with Luca. He's our expert for the Legendary Cup, and I asked him if he ever collected or gathered anything special or interesting. And the best thing he could come up with was losses in Storm League, but at least it's something. So welcome, Luca.
Hello, I am very good at collecting those Storm League L's. They are very dear to my heart. It makes me so happy every time I can just add another one to my collection. But I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Nasha.
Good to have you here for sure. Now I'm kind of like picturing you just having a folder on your computer with like tons of screenshots of like
all the
lost tweets and like
every night I go to bed, I flip through.
Good to see. Good to hear. We can find positivity in absolutely anything. For those that don't know you, Luca, who do you play with, and which division, and all that good stuff?
I am the tank and current shot caller for Super Unstopper Bros. We are a Div 2 team. We are just finishing out our 4th season. Unfortunately, we just missed out on being in this draw tonight. We couple of unlucky games right at the end against some very, very strong opponents who definitely won't be badmouthed because they beat me. Definitely not. But no, I've been in Lounge for quite a while, but this is the first time anyone's ever let me be on the official stream, so I'm very excited.
We are very happy to have you here. At least gonna cover and give us some extra insights into all the teams that are gonna compete in the Legendary Cup that we are coming to any second now. But before we get there, we gotta talk to the last guy on our screen. He has a voice that you at least have heard before and most likely seen. Our fourth and final expert, I asked him for some atypical achievements, like have he finished all the recipes in some cookbook, the time he completed some IKEA furniture in record time, or anything similar. And well, he answered that the haka often gets banned against him. So it seems like with Gene Simmons, Samu here is famous for his tongue. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Draw Show.
Hi, Samu. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I hope everyone else is doing great as well out there watching here with us. I also enjoyed the Epic and Rare Cup drawing.
Nice to hear. And I assume we're going to have more exciting draw action as we're going to get into first the Legendary Cup and the Mythic Cup. But for those that don't know you, who do you play for?
I'm currently playing Division 2 with a few friends of mine in the team. Maybe I'm the offlaner there and the Haka player. Who would have guessed? But a lot of people know me for casting a lot of Heroes Launch, especially in the playoffs. And I hope to see most of you there in the viewing as well.
That's a brilliant segue to mention that all of this amazing Heroes of the Storm amateur esport action will, of course, be covered here on this very channel and on all the casters' own channels that decide to cover the games. So feel free to follow this and the rest of them to catch all the exciting action. before we get back to Samu and the Mythic Cup, we gotta check out the Legendary Cup. We once again have tons of numbers to help us understand and create some context for what we're about to see here. And who better than to check in with than Karis? What's up, Karis?
Welcome back. Thank you, Nasha. Welcome back, everybody, to our Legendary Cup draw. So here's the Legendary Cup, and it means we're looking at games from Divisions 2 and 3. And that's a total of 488 games, as you can see there. Longest game, 37 minutes, which is extraordinarily long. So you can definitely get some real lengthy slog fests on the Legendary Cup. Now, the first thing to notice here about what we've got, a little difference that we've got in terms of maps, is you can see there that Towers of Doom has just snuck in as one of the more popular maps, which doesn't happen in any of the other Cup battleground picks that we've seen so far, nor in the Mythic that we'll see later on. So Towers of Doom, very popular in Divisions 2 and 3 for some reason. Don't know exactly why, and it's just nudged Volskaya out of the top 3 there with 61 pickups. So onto the heroes, and you can see Chromie there continuing the Bronze Age dominance, but she's just been nudged out in the most banned heroes by Ana, because here in these top level games, Ana's still also very respected, very feared, particularly for those sleeps and the grenades that can really set things up. And again, we see Imperious climbing. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about in terms of the actual numbers in terms of banning is how different these numbers are compared to the ones we saw in the Rare Cup. Because yes, it's the same heroes being banned when you see Chromie and Ana there, but actually it's more like Chromie banned in around half to 60% of games here in Divisions 2 and 3, whereas back in the Rare Cup, she was banned in about a third of games. So as we go up higher in the divisions, the priority bans kind of take a bigger proportion of the bans overall, even though it's kind of the same favorite bans there. Most picked heroes, again, you can see Joanna and ETC still very popular there. Those two tanks, they're just kind of stable tanks that people can just slot in that draft early on with no real fear. I suspect we might see a few changes to ETC coming down gradually in the popularity, but still definitely very popular so far. Secret weapon heroes, as I should call them, which is the heroes that have got really high win rates and decent pick rates, but aren't appearing in those top pick lists. So obviously Tracer's up there with an over 60% win rate. Tracer, obviously, though, is typically played by people who know her very well. And when teams see an enemy team that plays a Tracer, often she'll get target banned for that. But otherwise, she doesn't get prioritized with bans. Malfurion as well. Currently the highest win rate healer in Divisions 2 and 3. Again, over 60% win rate, looking very dominant. And Tychus, believe it or not, Tychus doing very well, also over 60% win rate. Not picked up a hugely amount, but a decent amount. So one for teams to look out for, I think. Just on the individual players there, and you can see some of the highest hero pools and highest KDA. Quick mention to someone you can't see on screen, which is Blah 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 of Team Hands Up, who's captured the most mercenary camps in Divisions 2 and 3, with 172 camps captured in season 13, which is an average of about 7 camps per game. So definitely some PvE work being done by Blah 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 of Team Hands Up there. Back to you, Nasha.
That does throw me back to the old days playing Greymane and just like going from camp to camp, making sure that we just take them on cooldown. That's a lot of camps, 7 per game. Yeah, high prioritization. Is it like that for the rest of the division, Luca? Everyone's just taking camps on cooldown?
Well, you find yourself in a position where when camps are up, you need to take them in this current meta game. They give XP, they give you lane pressure. They are so important to be taken in most cases on cooldown. And it's very helpful if you can just get one player on your team and go, you're our camper, because then the rest of your team can move around, rotate, and pick up all the experience. And you know that Greymane that you've got hanging out there, or that Exterminator Rainer, is going to just get that macro pressure really rolling for you.
We did see a high prioritization on the Greymane there, and of course, as all the other divisions, the Walking Potato, Johanna always does good work as being just that, a good fat Walking Potato. But we're going to see how the teams are going to utilize all these heroes as we're going to draw them into groups for the Legendary Cup. We all know how this works. We're going to start with Pool 1 and roll some balls around to figure out which group they are gonna end up in as the ball machine is loading up right in front of your very eyes. And the first team that's coming out for you is Food for Frobius.
Food for Frobius are an absolutely exceptional Div 2 team. They have got some of the most innovative shot calling that I've seen in the division, and they have got some really quality play coming out, honestly, from all of their players. It's very difficult for me to pick a favorite player out of them, although it is Jam. Coming up next, we have the Kitty Cat Crusaders, I believe. They long-serving Lounge division. They've had several games. Look out for Sparks Hanzo. He is 12 on 13 in that hero in the division. It's absolutely insane what he can pull off with those Dragon's Arrows.
That's a pretty good win rate for sure.
Incredible, isn't it? Complex are up next. Complex are another long-serving team. This is their third playoff in 4 games, although they've never made it into a cup stage. So I'm sure Penelope will be looking to try and really persevere her team and motivate them towards getting those knockouts. And finally dropping in, we are going to have Out of Position Squad, or OOPS, if you will. These guys, very aggressive team, slightly less macro focused side. They really go for their wins with their aggressive plays. They look to set up angles where they can find kills, and they're very, very exciting and enjoyable to watch. So all 4 definitely teams to look out for in the upcoming playoffs.
Yeah, interesting. And I definitely like the entertainment value it seems to come out of Position Squad there. And I think we also have to mention that Penelope is one of the administrators for this whole thing. She's setting all the draw show thing up. And just because she plays on Complex, and if they happen to get a decently easy group now, it's no reason to start calling your lawyer, starting to tweet anything about losing or winning something. It's fine. This is all legal. All the balls are funneled in the exactly same
on the subject of
Hashtag Rick.
On the subject of legal, I must add, Penelope is an incredible Lounge player. She did not put me up to saying her team have some amazing win rates and very fun to watch plays. So that's Complex for you. Go and check them out. They're incredible players.
I think I just got a message that we can stop the draft, actually. I think Complex just won the Legendary Cup. So I think we're fine. We can go to the Mythic stuff now. That was all the teams we have in Pool 1. We're going to get them some more teams. Let's get going with Pool number 2. And the first ball that's going to be funneled here is Mold Level Falling.
So Mold Level Falling have many of the players from last season's Mold Level Rising that actually managed to go on to win this cup last year from Division 3. So they are definitely a strong seed. They have a big macro focus. And this is a bit of a last hurrah tournament for them, as they don't think they'll be rejoining next season. Wolf Warriors, they are second season. They used to be part of the Kitty Cat Crusaders, but 2 seasons ago there were just too many people, and so they split off and formed some sister teams. Last season they couldn't make it through, but this is the first season we'll see both of them in the same cup, so really exciting to see if those 2 could match up against each other.
At least they avoided each other in the group play. I'm not sure if cats and dogs can play that well together.
Curso, the first of our 2 Finnish teams to come out of Division 2. Very, very strong team. They've had a couple of seasons together now, and many seasons these players have played before on similar Finnish teams, so definitely one to watch. And finally, Water Dragons, just snipping in there right at the end, another Finnish team. So both of them looking to find each other in the finals to prove once and for all that the Finnish teams are truly superior in the Legendary Cup.
Water Dragons, another team name there that I feel I've taken in my mouth many draw shows in a row, going far back, been around for a long time, and also a complete Finnish team, as you mentioned, together with Kursu, that I'm sure it stands for something like a small bear or something like that in Suomi. I guess Myrmidon can fill us in the chat here if he has the possibility to, but what do you read here, Luca?
Well, I think that definitely there are some really strong players on Curso. I've played against them for the past 2 seasons, and there's never a scrim or a match between them that isn't a bit scary, although did beat them this season, so, that's important. Let's get that out live. Water Dragons as well. Yufta, I believe, their captain. They've done really well. They've had, I think, a couple of runs even in Method Mayhem when that was a thing. They got a little bit deep into there, so definitely an established roster. But I feel like I do have to come back to these Mold Level Falling guys. They're just really strong team to watch out for. Many previous champions on here looking to try and get that last hurrah victory coming in. So do have to feel a little bit sorry for Kitty Cat Crusaders finding them in their group.
Oh, okay. Group B is sizing up to be an exciting one. We'll see who the third team will be as we're going to head into pool number 3 of the teams. First is Pray For Us.
Now, Pray For Us have had an astronomically good season. They are 9 out of 10 in their division. It's incredible play from all of them. I'm incredibly excited to see what they're going to bring for these playoffs. Up next, I think we have Encore. I hope. Oh, I'm going ahead. Yeah, Encore. They've told me that they really, really want to knock out the Kitty Cats. Wait, no, that's wrong. That's a lie. I have my notes all fumbled. Encore are, however, an absolutely incredible team, and I do look forward to see Guels' boys carry on and play really strongly. Naptime, another really high finishing Div 3 team. They've played some absolutely exceptional series so far, and it's just lots of back-to-back strong teams, honestly, coming out here. Very difficult to split some of them apart. Luftwaffe, soon to be called the Geld Boys, I believe, or the Gold Boys. Hopefully Samu can maybe fix that pronunciation for me. But they another really strong team. Apparently they have some very, very strong off-lane players coming out that don't always go quite according to plan, but I've been assured by their captain that won't be a problem and they'll still be able to win those games.
Do these offline plays include the Haka though? That's the question.
I guess we'll have to tune in and find out, right?
Mm-hmm. Samu is always up for a good licking, it seems. And my first immediate thought here is that I kind of just want to make a return to casting now to co-cast an Encore game with Karis, so I could just go, can I get it? Do you want more? And have him fill in the lyrics.
But they don't actually know any lyrics after that.
No, but that's all you need. That's all you need. We can actually cast the game in between that.
Well, I was trying that in the chat with Hataman, but it's not gone so well.
That is the third teams. Someone is mentioning that Group D is looking kind of scary.
Definitely having Pray For Us in your group is scary. They are 9. They've lost one map this season, right? Or one ticket game this season. So if you're sitting in that group, you've got to be a little bit scared that third seed has really put in a strong showing for the Legendary Cup. I'm mumbling my words, talking too much. But no, Complex and Wolf of Warriors definitely might not have been hoping for that group, but I'm sure that they've got some very strong players in there for both those sides. And maybe Penelope wanted to find herself in a slightly stronger group so that her team could prove themselves from the off.
Yeah, and if for some chance these groups have to be just rearranged a tiny bit, don't mind about that. If that's it's just an administrative activity. You mentioned something about Encore. There was something that they really hope to meet, or
you see, I fumbled my notes completely.
Oh, okay, was that
that was a lie. This is why you shouldn't put all your text far too small. No,
it's more than fine. We're gonna say that the Rear was looking forward to meeting both of Mold Level Falling and the Kitty Cat Crusaders, so they got exactly what they hoped for here in Group B. But we have 4 more teams to put up against the rest of them, as we are gonna head further into the legendary draw. Team Super
sorry.
Kulaks? No,
Super Kulaks? I think Super Kulaks. They are a Hungarian team, I believe. Apparently, they weren't expecting to make playoffs. It's very exciting to see them clutch it out here right at the end. But they're excited to come up against both the Naughty Otters and Naptime, who they felt maybe it wasn't quite the best game that they had against them when they found them in the regular season. The Naughty Otters, I've been informed, also didn't expect to make playoffs. So maybe little bit more confidence we need to have here in Div 3, guys. You guys have got that skill, but apparently they are the naughtiest team by far. So looking to see some very naughty players coming out of them. Now, Pepega Pufferteers, I want to say, they are an incredibly strong team. They have got absolutely exceptional Sonya players coming out from the offlane, some beautiful Deckard players coming out from their support, and I've heard that their main tank sometimes plays okay too. So really looking forward to seeing them. And there's Potis Blancons. I'm not French, but I hope that's what that is. They are my favorite team in this entire cup because their captain sent me so many cute pictures of seals when wanting to talk about their team. And unfortunately, I can't put them up here for you now. But if anyone wants cute pictures of seals, I recommend you hit up Les Potis Blancons because they have got some incredible seal pics. But no, they are, all memes aside, an incredibly strong team. And I'm sure they're going to give all of the teams in their group a run for their money.
I do like Seal Picks. Kiss from a Rose is one of my favorite all-time songs. And I do see here in the last pool something interesting. The team that went into Group A, Les Petits Blancons. It sounds French. Then we have Team Super Kulaks, which you said was Hungarian?
I believe, yes.
Something like that. Pepega Pofrotiers sounds very Dutch. And the Naughty Otters, like, they have to be German, I assume. Or, but that at least...
Karis could give.
There is
definitely give some
as a member of the Naughty Otters, I can say we do have exactly one German player on our roster of 8 people.
Aha!
Well, you know, that's it's close. But no, we've built ourselves some very interesting groups here now, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. We do. Is there any one of them that you think stands out? You can cover that while we move on to the polling at the same time, as everyone, of course, is going to be allowed to say. These instructions are on the screen right now. Start voting. And yeah, Luca, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in Group C. I think that the Pepega Pofrotiers, they have a real good shot there, honestly, of running through that group and maybe taking a map off of Water Dragons or Luftwaffe. So that's going to be very exciting to see who's going to take the second place spot there. Obviously, Group D, I've talked already about Pray For Us, and I would be very interested to see the Pray For Us complex matchup, although not to count out either the Otters or the Woof Woof Warriors. They are both very strong teams and could definitely bring some very strong games. Finally, I think in Group A, Naptime, definitely in a position for an upset there against either Curso or maybe not Food for Phobias. They are possibly a finalist team there in that group, but definitely a potential there to see Curso slipping up a little bit. So I'm excited to see that.
Let me try a little bit sensitive question, maybe. Of the Pool 4 team, Les Petits Blancons, Super Kulaks, Pepega Pofrotiers, and the Naughty Otters, which one of these do you think have the best chance of qualifying for the group? It's not nothing bad, of course, but
I think my money has to sit with the Pepegas. I think that they have dodged a couple of the really strong teams that you can hit in that B slot and that C slot, which for me personally are Mold Level Fooling and Pray For Us. And when you can dodge those two, obviously it makes that second slot just a little bit easier to contest. And I know some of the Pepegas very well, and on their day, they are an incredibly strong team. In fact, they may have beat certain unnamed Division 2 teams quite hard in scrims that definitely weren't mine.
Interesting inside information there.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to see their run. I'm excited to see if they can pull it off. But I'm also excited to see someone who I haven't noticed come and surprise me.
If I might add a little factoid about Food for Phobias as well. So they're in Group A. I mean, they've been playing in the Nexus Rumble, which is our weekly winner stays on tournament that kind of runs parallel to Heroes Lounge, and they've won, as I understand it, they're undefeated for 6 weeks in a row now. In that, and they've played against some Division 1 teams, they've played against Division 2 teams, Division 3, and they are so far undefeated for 6 weeks. So definitely one of the strongest teams to watch going into the Legendary Cup.
Indeed, we have some exciting groups with a lot of exciting teams here in the Legendary Cup. I know it's going to be hard for Aviator that has 2 of his favorite teams in Group C. And apart from that, I feel like it's decently open with even the 4th seeded teams showing some great promise. Looking at the votes from the audience, we can see that it's Food for Phobias, the first seeded team in Group A that are the audience's favorites. What do you think about that, Luca?
Well, they are an incredibly strong side. I think they are quite possibly my favorite going into this tournament as well. They have, as Karis said, an incredible unbeaten run in the Nexus Rumble, including just this weekend, taking out a Division 1 team in a 2-0 very clean series. Although they did drop 2 maps to Out of Position Squad and Complex in the regular season, they took wins against both of them in the Nexus Rumble for Vengeance. And so I definitely think they are the team to beat coming into this cup.
What about you, Samu? You have any input on the Legendary Cup?
One thing I'm very looking forward to is when we look at last season, the Legendary Cup, we saw a lot of Division 3 teams making it out of the group stage. I think we did not even have a single Division 2 team in the later stages of the playoff day. So I'm going to be very interested into how the Division 3 teams will do this season again. If we see, again, a lot of those standing up against the Division 2 teams, giving them a good fight and even taking maps off them. And if we see, again, a Division 3 against Division 3 grand final as last season.
That could very well be. We're going to have to wait and see as we follow the action in the Legendary Cup over the following weeks. And of course, remember the Legendary Cup final on the 5th of December. Again, exclamation mark, finals and all this stuff in the chat if you want it in writing. But that is it for the Legendary Cup. The teams are drawn out and everything is ready for more of that playoff action. That means we have only one cup left. That is the Mythic Cup, the top echelon of Heroes of the Storm Amateur Action, the highest division of eSport. No, we probably can't say that anymore, but it's at least the highest levels of play that you can find in the Heroes Lounge, at least European amateur Heroes of the Storm, I would say. The Mythic Cup is a little bit different. It's only the 8 best teams from the normal league play that qualifies. These 8 teams are then divided, depending on seeding, into 2 groups of 4 teams each. Then they will play it out against each other, and the top 3 teams from each group will then go into a 6-team double elimination tournament bracket. Sounds maybe a little bit confusing, but again, it's all explained very easily on our webpage, and this is by far the best possible structure we can create, so to give it a fair chance for everyone to really be able to decide which team is the best team in the Heroes Lounge for season 13. But before we get into all of the teams, we once again, of course, have some numbers to lay out for all of you, and to lay that out is Karis once again. What can we see from the Mythic Championship numbers?
Well, you're exactly right, Nasha. These are some of the top teams, and indeed the top players in Europe. And obviously, number one spot in Mythic Championship teams has been Hasu. Wins these every day. Hasu, Obs, and Dino, and so on. You can see 2 of them there in the highest KDA, top KDA. In fact, Dino, the top KDA in all of Heroes Lounge with 12.95 there. Not so surprising when he's GM 16. So it's and he's been higher as well. So it's not so surprising to see some of these top players really devastating their division and really showing themselves to be a terrifying force to be reckoned with. Once again, the meta, it's still Chromie, it's still Imperius, it's still Ana. But look at the tightening. If we look at how much those heroes have been banned, Chromie banned around 56-60% in Division 1. So really the teams in Division 1 really focusing on banning those key meta heroes, and the resulting ban spectrum is narrower, if you like. Once again, though, most picked heroes, Joanna and ETC, they're there all the time. But this time, instead of having Greymane or Reyna with them, as we've seen in the other divisions, those auto attackers, this time is Li Ming, because Li Ming in the hands of a top player can be absolutely devastating, as I'm sure we've all seen multiple times. So obviously this is a smaller pool of maps than of games played than we've seen in the other divisions, because it is just one division and it is a slightly smaller division at that. So it's only 200 games played, but still it is it's still very instructive for players in the lower divisions if they want to learn about what kind of meta is played at the top level.
Indeed, especially to see the mages here being popular both in the banned column, but also, of course, when it comes to most picked heroes, with Li Ming making an entrance there behind the two tanks. Very good groundwork here for the Mythic Championship. A little bit sad to see Towers of Doom not higher on the most picked map, but how is that, Karis? Do you have any numbers for me on that?
Towers of Doom is slightly lower than Volskaya here on Division 1. I don't have the exact number, but I think it's 4th or 5th place. But they still prioritize it higher than, say, the rare Division teams, but it's still lower than we saw in Division 2 and 3.
I just think that hasn't changed since the map came out. It's been a huge favorite of mine, both as a caster and a player and a spectator and everything. It's just a very interesting map all in all. But I hope that we'll see more of that as we're heading into the playoffs for the Mythic Championship. But to do that, we need to draw out some groups. On the screen now, you see the 4 pools with only 2 teams in each pool. These are now going to be drawn into 2 groups that will play against each other. As we explained earlier, again, all this information can be found on the Heroes Lounge website. I'm not sure there's much more to wait on. Let's head into the last draw of the Season 13 draw show here, as the Mythic Championship groups will be ready for us soon. So they
With the first team, we are going to have Hazu wins this every day. They are undefeated this season. In their 10 games, they got 10 wins. Of course, when they are undefeated, who would have guessed? And they only lost 3 maps a total in the season. And all those 3 teams they lost the map to did not manage to get into the playoffs. There's a very interesting fact there. And if someone beats them, they will get a coaching session from X-Ray, as far as I have here. On the second team in the pool number 1, we see Pepper Lady, a very long-standing high-level tier team in Europe as well, as they have played in the Method Mayhem and other cups a lot. And they want to get second to see and face Team Hazu in the winner bracket finals and the grand finals of this Mythic Championship, because they're a little bit afraid of them. And they want to play a lot of different heroes and want to have fun. But if their opponents are good, for example, Hazu wins these already, they are definitely going to try hard and show what they are capable of doing.
And at least they are able to avoid them for now, as they will, of course, go into each separate group with Pepper Malady in Group A and Hazu wins this every day in Group B. Also, very good opportunities for them to scout out some of their opponents' games, pick strategies, and stuff like that, as most of this will, of course, be covered here on the Heroes Lounge Twitch channel and the rest of our casters. But these teams need someone to play against. Let's head over to the Sure Buddies.
Yeah, in the second pool, we have, first of all, the Sure Buddies. They have some friendly rivalries with Hype and Project Rama, which we will see in the third and fourth pool. They will go up against Pepper Malady, which is a very interesting one to see, as they're definitely a very scary team. But also the other team in pool number 2 is very dangerous. We see Diablo needs affection, a very long-standing team, and Captain Mac, the kid. And his brother Galaxy always loved to play competitive. And we also, whoever still has in mind, 2 seasons ago, Galaxy also helped us out with the Mythic Championship cast there and was our analyst and brought us a great show there.
Yeah, we can see the chat got what they wanted and got Diablo Needs Infection in with Hazu wins this every day in Group B. Couple more teams before we can round out the groups, as we're going to draw the pool number 3. First, Project Kramer.
Yeah, Project Kramer, they're definitely looking forward towards the fun playoff stage. And according to their opinion, Chromie and Junkrat are the worst heroes ever designed. We shall see how many bans they will throw against those 2 heroes if they go up against someone like Hazu, who loves to play those. And then the second team in this pool is Disgusting. And they called themselves the boring team from All 8, probably. They're just clicking some buttons once a week. But you're never allowed to forget, Disgusting were also one of those teams which participated in tournaments like Method Mayhem and always had some great results there. So they're definitely not allowed to count out at any point.
Interesting to hear that we also in the third seed have very strong teams. Rounding out the groups here, as we have 3 now in each. That means we're still lacking 1 team to go into each group. Remember, it's the 3 best teams from each group that goes into the double elimination bracket, while 1 team is left behind. And in pool 4, it's first Hype that goes into Group B.
Hype going into Group B is already a very scary team, because they were 2 seasons ago the only team which managed to get a win off the former team of Hazu Wins This Every Day, where they had no Hazu-ups, but instead had Wit and Blade in. So also definitely a team to watch out for. They love to play Phoenix, Arag, and Zeratul. They also see a lot of bans against them, and they also have Blank, the well-known Butcher OTP. And now we also have, as the last team being drawn, we see Skok Support 2.0, and they didn't manage to get into the playoffs with even one game less, so they only had a total of 9 games. They were probably did not get a game for one round, so this one was counted out. And if you look at those players, you see a lot of well-known names, especially if you're following CCL. You see someone like Gigi Skok, Gigi Berkold, and Chili Mountains Maki coming into that team, which is also definitely one you're not allowed to count out.
Definitely. I like the Swedish gang getting together, and of course showing up in the Heroes Lounge season after season. It's good to see for sure, and that does actually mean that we have both our groups, Group A and Group B. This is the Mythic Championship, and this is kind of a struggle because it's only one team from each group that doesn't make it into the next parts of the playoff. So even though I don't like to focus on negativity, I think the easiest way to go about this is to ask which team you think will have the most issues getting through. And before we get to you, Luca, do you have any feeling here?
Unfortunately, I'm not overly familiar with a lot of the Div 1 teams. Obviously, I can pick out those top 2 in Hasselhoffs and Pepe Milady as some very strong sides, but I wouldn't like to say who I think is going to struggle the most. I could step on some toes there without much knowledge.
Then we'll go back to you, Samu. What do you think here?
I just truly want to point out, the chat is pointing out the Group A is disgusting and Group B is just full of hype. Yeah, looking at the Group A, I really have a struggle, but I can kind of say for sure that Pepe Milady is probably going through. I would also assume that they are the ones to get first place in their group. But also the sure part is discussing Skok Support. I'm very sure that those 3 teams will give themselves a very good fight over the second and third spot into the playoffs. And in Group B, of course, Hazu Wins This Every Day. A top tier team you think should win all of this. But you're not allowed to forget Diablo and its affection, with Meg and Galaxy having 2 top tier players which played together for a very, very long time as their brothers. And also have other very strong players. I would also assume that they are definitely going to win. The question, though, is if Project Rama or Hype will be the ones which have to take the L and will sadly drop out in the group stage already.
We'll see what the audience has to say. That's right. You once again have the possibility to chime in with your opinions. Start spamming those numbers in chat. Who you think will win the Mythic Championship? I have to admit, I have even though Norway and Sweden have a good rivalry, I have a little soft spot for Skogsapor and my boy Galne Gunnar and the rest of the Swedes. I have to admit. We'll see what the audience say about their chances of getting through the group, of course. And this Group B with all the hype and Project Kramer. Project Kramer is seeming to do very well in the audience poll, though.
Yeah, they definitely have some ones you are also allowed to watch out for. I mean, they don't like they mentioned they don't like Chromie and Junkrat, which is very bad for them because they're in a team with Hazu, and Hazu plays both of those. So you definitely have to watch out. But I think if they can definitely make a shot with Baby Houdini and Rainy the Eric on that side, I believe. Those 2 are very scary players when Eric gets his Sylvanas.
Sylvanas, my queen. I hope you're all joining me in refusing to kill her in the new World of Warcraft expansion, as Sylvanas did nothing wrong, and we're going to support her to the end. Hazu Wins This Every Day, one of the biggest favorites, at least in the eyes of the expert here, going into the mythic into the last draw here, and but they're only second on the audience votes.
Well, I would kind of assume Project Rama has a lot with people which are also very active in the Heroes Launch community. I would assume they're a little bit biased maybe there, but when you look on the roster of Hazu Wins This Every Day, you just have to say they are clearly the favorites. Having 4 CCL players in the team is a really scary one. Also, one fun fact about them is that they're all Germans. Always their plan for the season to get a German team together. And when they stream their POVs, they're also often talking in German, which is quite fun to hear, especially if you understand them.
Yeah, otherwise I think I have to take a hint from chat there and point out how biased it is that you're pointing out biased. That sounds very biased to me. But as an expert, I think we just gotta let you chime in with whatever you want. There's a reason you're here after all.
My completely unbiased opinion on Project Kramer is that Rainier Day Eric has been theory crafting with me the 15-second mind control Sylvanas and a little bit of W build Leorix. So they're the best team in the lounge, basically, is what we're trying to put out here. And you should support them.
And of course, we got to hear from you. Caris, you're still hanging around here. You've seen the groups now. What do you think about the Mythic Championship? Do you have a favorite to take it all home?
Well, I think DNA, Diablo and Defection, have got to be considered a favorite just by experience. They've been in Heroes Lounge for so long and so much a part of the community now. But I think, yeah, I mean, obviously the front two teams to watch out for are Hasu wins these every day and Pepe Milady. I think it's going to be a really tough fight to see who gets knocked out of the group stage, though. I think there's a kind of the bottom four spots of the group, if you like, will be really hard fought over. So definitely watch out for those, and I wouldn't count any of these teams out.
Yeah, we are not going to do that for sure. We're going to pay close attention to it. The group stages here, how they're going to play out over the next couple of weeks, then go into the super cool double elimination bracket playoff style that we have prepared for you. And again, remember, the Mythic Cup final is on the 6th of December. Exclamation mark finals and all that good stuff in chat to get the dates so you can note them down. Now, that means we have drawn all the teams that we are here to draw. Not a single ball is left unfondled. They've all been touched. And that means we can actually round off the draw show for season 13. Again, remember, signups are open for both the ARAM tournament and the next season right about now until they close on the 13th of December. So get ready for the new season that will kick off on the 4th of January. Big thanks to our previous guests, Myrmidon and Randomogra, for a great job. And thanks to you guys, both Samu and Luca, that I hope you had a good time with us tonight.
I very much enjoyed being here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, always. My heart is kind of beating for Heroes Launch. As a lot of people know, I'm putting a lot of time into the casting matters. So if any one of you wants to get a caster, just DM me on Discord and we're getting this done.
I think that's actually a really good segue to mention something that I tend to forget for some insane reason. That the only way that we can be here, do all this stuff, season 13, it's insane. Who would have thought this was some random guy named Petman wrote a Reddit post about like, oh, shouldn't we like maybe have a tournament or something? Like, now we're here, tons of people playing, we have the draw show, we have the playoff, we're gonna start season 14 around the New Year's. It's going to be tons of fun. We can't do this without people like Samu, Luca, everyone in the background here that helps out, that does tons of work on their free time to make this happen. And if you want to help out, there's tons of ways to do it. You can just chill out, hang out, watch the streams, throw us a follow, maybe a sub or something if you want that. There is, of course, a Patreon that you can contribute to where you can donate however much you want. And, of course, maybe even better if you want to help out moderating the Discord, maybe you want to test out casting for yourself or anything like that. We definitely welcome anything that you would like to contribute with open arms. Come, play, hang out, have some fun, and make friends for life. It's just a good, nice little bonus. How about you, Caris? Now, you have survived another draw show with me. Have you enjoyed it once again? And what steps are you now taking to be even better prepared for the zombie apocalypse?
It's been an absolutely delightful draw show, as always, with you, Nasha. And thank you very much to our guests, indeed. What steps do I need to take to prepare for the zombie apocalypse? Well, I mean, honestly, the best way to survive a zombie apocalypse, if you really think about it, is to become a zombie. And then you become the dominant force and part of the ruling class of zombies. And that's my secret strategy, is just to go out, get bitten. So I'm just going to go out and expect some people to bite me, and then let's see what happens from there.
I think it will work out fine. You can always borrow a small trick from Samo and just try to lick them and see what happens. I'm sure it will then work out completely fine, I'm sure. A good time I hope all of you beautiful people also had with us as we're closing down the draw show for the season. I'm looking forward to the next weeks of Heroes Esports on this very Twitch channel and hope to see you all in the chat. And don't forget to sign up for Season 14 before the dates mentioned in the chat. Big special thanks to Sembar, that's once again been doing all of the behind-the-scenes shit. And of course, big shoutouts to Penelope for putting all of this together and doing all the administrative actions. I am your friendly neighborhood Latino Narsha, appreciative to be brought back for whenever I'm needed, and looking forward to seeing you all again in the chat during the playoffs or suddenly in your next ARAM game. Until then, good luck and have feeds.